Wise man proportions his belief to the evidence. By David Hume. It is seldom that liberty of any kind is lost all at once. Slavery has so frightful an aspect to men accustomed to freedom that it must steal upon them by degrees and must disguise itself in 1,000 shapes in order to be received. The life of man is of no greater importance to the universe than that of an oyster. Beauty is no quality in things themselves. It exists merely in the mind which contemplates them, and each mind perceives a different beauty. There is no such thing as freedom of choice unless there is freedom to refuse. All knowledge degenerates into probability. When men are most sure and arrogant, they are commonly most mistaken. Nothing is more surprising than the easiness with which the many are governed by the few. To hate, to love, to think, to feel, to see, all this is nothing but to perceive. Beauty is no quality in things themselves. It exists merely in the mind, which contemplates them, and each mind perceives a different beauty. Reason is, and ought only to be the slave of the passions, and can never pretend to any other office than to serve and obey them. History is the discovering of the principles of human nature. Human happiness seems to consist in 3 ingredients: action, pleasure, and indolence. Grief and disappointment give rise to anger, anger to envy, envy to malice, and malice to grief again, till the whole circle be completed. Men often act knowingly against their interest. The difference between a man who is led by opinion or emotion and one who is led by reason. The former, whether he will or not, performs things of which he is entirely ignorant. The latter is subordinate to no one, and only does those things which he knows to be of primary importance in his life, and which on that account he desires the most. And therefore I call the former a slave, but the latter free. A little philosophy makes a man an atheist. A great deal converts him to religion. No amount of observations of white swans can allow the inference that all swans are white, but the observation of a single black swan is sufficient to refute that conclusion. Nothing appears more surprising to those who consider human affairs with a philosophical eye than the easiness with which the many are governed by the few, and the implicit submission with which men resign their own sentiments and passions to those of their rulers. Reading and sauntering and lounging and dosing, which I call thinking, is my supreme happiness. Thanks for watching. Likes, comment, and subscribe.